Hey everyone, it is October and it has been a wild few weeks since I saw everyone last. Or since I talked to you anyway. Since I recorded last. I was totally wrong about the weather. It rained and rained and rained. I've never seen anything like it. It was truly wild. There is standing water and puddles all over the yard. But the most incredible thing is not the puddles in the yard, which, themselves are notable enough. It doesn't stand around that much. But it's what happens if you look outside of the yard. It is completely flooded, y'all. Everything is just under this thick layer of water. The other terp is over there somewhere. I have been talking to my guests who are staying there, and they're doing okay over there, but it's high. All the fields are completely underwater. I'll send up the drone and get some shots. It's really hard to explain how wild this is. It's just everywhere. I am completely cut off from town, which is unfortunate news because lots of sheep have been having babies. I have all of my sheep that were lambing have given birth. I lost 2 mamas and 1 baby in the process because I've never done this before, and Otto could not get out here. But everybody is resting comfortably now, so I guess that's good. And I have twice as many sheep now, which is wild. It's fun to watch them though, the mamas with their kids. It's very entertaining. But yeah, the road is completely underwater. I couldn't get to town if I wanted to. Fortunately, the other people on the terp warned me, and I laid in supplies. There is somewhere over here a boat. Yes, this old thing. I have used it to get around when the water was higher, but you can see it's not in the best condition. I don't want to do that regularly, and everything is just so covered anyway. It's wild. So yeah, the floods are here. It is flooded. I guess I will be working around the yard today. I've got some hay to bale, and not bale. I have some hay bales to put away. I have gotten very little sleep. These sheep have been giving birth all hours of the day and night. This trailer is full of hay bales that I baled from the grass field in September. I haven't taken them off and stacked them yet. So that'll be a job for today. And I'll give you some updates about what I've been up to in the meantime. But first, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go back inside and take a nap and have some pastries. I stocked up at the bakery in town before the flooding got so bad. It's starting to go a little stale now because it's been a few days. But yeah, I'll come back in later and do some proper tidying up and give you some more updates. Okay, I am feeling like a new person now that I've had a bit of a nap. The sheep were just coming fast and furious for days. I can't even tell you how exhausting that was. What's the floodwater look like now? Still flooded. Alright, this is, I guess, gonna be a good day to get stuff done on the terp. Let's get into the moving the bales off the trailer. I'll tell you what I've been up to. Hi, chickens. How are you doing food-wise? Getting a little low. Maybe I'll give you something after I do this. I should probably check on the sheep, too. Let's head on in here. Turn on the lights there. Okay. I've got to get all this hay off this trailer and stack it up neat-like. Let's check on the sheep, see what they've got going on food-wise. Hi, sheep. Well, looks like they've got plenty of, well, some of it, but maybe I should bring them some more. I don't see much, greens in there. I should maybe bring them some more lettuce or tomatoes or something later. So I might do that later. Okay, let's get in here. Get these straps off. Start pulling these bales down. Might be easiest if I just get up there and toss that top layer down. I don't think I can easily pull those off from the side. Let's just climb on up here. Oh no. Maybe I shouldn't go up from that side. Oops. Like playing a Jenga tower. Let's try that again, huh? Yeah, I'm just gonna make a mess of this, aren't I? Well, let's see how it goes. Seems precarious. What am I thinking here? Okay. Alright. Get it closer over there anyway. So, you're probably wondering why I've done all of this as hay. In the past, when I've harvested grass off that field, I have done a mix of hay and grass, and the sheep need both, so that's why I've done it that way in the past. I'm gonna fall off this thing if I'm not careful. Jeez. Alright. I have an idea for what I want to do on the new terp. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna try picking this layer off the other side. Oh lord. Because I'm never gonna get it from that side where I need to be with it. So, when I first moved out here, one of you lovely folks who watches my videos and leaves comments sometimes, I think it was Sean G, although I'm not positive, so if I got that wrong, I apologize, made a comment that they could really see me with a horse here on the island, just sort of riding around, very low-key. That has really stuck with me in the year and change since I moved out here. And I've been thinking about how I might be able to do that. But the problem is, when everything floods, like it's flooded now, you really have to construct anything new you want to add to the terp on the terp. Let me hop down from here. Okay, gotta be careful there. Let's go out here again. I have a thought about this. There's not much space left on this terp to build anything. I've got these buildings, I've got the sheep pen here. I could maybe, if I took these trees down here, in this corner, put up some small stable for a horse, but it's not very big. It's very curved here. And you see the water comes right up near the top when it floods. So I can't put anything down below there. I can't put like a stable or any production buildings or even a building to store tools down there. So anything I build would have to be up here, and there's not a ton of space to do it. I could maybe fit a stable there. But that's part of what has stopped me from doing anything here. Building anything new, rather. But now I've got that other terp. And that other terp has plenty of space where those old buildings used to be that I had to demolish. So I would like to get some horses over on that other terp. Because I think in addition to having horses, which would be nice, I suspect the tourists would love it. I know for a lot of people it's part of like a holiday experience if you're going somewhere to do like a horseback riding thing. And part of the problem with agro-tourism is you really don't have stuff to do all year round. I mean, you do kind of, but there's plenty of time when you're farming and you only have a handful of fields where you're just sort of waiting for stuff to grow, or for weeds to come up, or for it to be time to fertilize. So for an agro-tourism place, you really need like supplemental activities in order to keep people entertained during the slow periods. And horses are a nice way to do that. I also thought maybe I could have people come over here to this terp and help me with the sheep. And I certainly wouldn't object to doing that, but I think for a lot of people having them right there, some sort of animals, and I don't want to have like I don't know, something like chickens that I need to be there all the time collecting eggs or whatever. I guess the chickens are fairly self-sufficient. But I was thinking about like what other types of animals I might have over there. And everything would really require me to get there all the time if I don't have guests staying. I don't know. I might still need to hire somebody or go myself to look after the horses because I can't expect guests to know how. I don't know how yet. So it's still kind of a work in progress in terms of how that would work. But that's what I would like to do. And that's why I harvested this whole field in hay. So I've got plenty of hay for horses now. I've got some oats left from my harvest this year. I think, no, last year. Did I do oats this year? I don't remember anymore. I have some oats stuck away in my silo there. And I can always plant more in the spring over in the new fields that I've got going on the terp over there, which would be kind of fun for people to harvest. If they come for the agro-tourism, harvest it and then feed it right to the horses. I think that would be cool for them. I have those two fields on the other island that I haven't planted yet, so I could plant either or both of those in oats. Oh dear. It's just awkward sometimes. But horses don't just need hay and oats. I also need some other thing to feed them. And I think probably carrots would be the easiest, but I don't have any carrots. I don't have any fields in carrot right now. I don't even know what equipment I need to plant and harvest carrots. So I'm missing kind of a third ingredient to feed the horses. And I have been trying to establish relationships with other farmers. So maybe I could buy some carrots from some of the other farmers. But you know, everything with that farmer over on the other island who I have upset and is just really hard on me now. Some of the other farmers around are hesitant to help me because they don't want to get on his bad side, and he has a lot of equipment that they rent regularly and also a lot of influence because he's been here for a long time. So I still need to make good with him to get other things to work smoothly for me here on the island. Or like, you know, to get anybody to work on my equipment. And to complicate things, since I bought that tractor, that new tractor that I've got over on the other terp right now, I don't have any money. I have like $2,500 right now. And that's only because I've got somebody staying on the terp as like an overflow house from the holiday cottages, because they wanted to see the flooding. And horses are not super cheap. I had it priced out to get the paddock I want over on the other farm. It would be around $40,000 for the paddock and the horses. And that would be just no equipment or anything to work with them, and having Otto bring them over because I don't have an animal trailer. And I did talk to Otto about what horses. I had him sort of keep an eye out because I would need something pretty forgiving. I would need some pretty forgiving horses to work with a lot of newbies all the time. I need some probably older horses that are pretty calm. Nothing too flashy or with a temperament that requires special handling. So Otto has been keeping an eye out, but I just don't have the money. It's like $40,000. I decided I was going to apply for a loan, and I have. It's for more than $40,000 because I also want to put up a building on the other terp, some sort of like, I don't know, a small shed, I guess, to store equipment, where I had to tear down that other building. And the loan process, among other things, requires a character, someone to vouch for me, basically, because I am not from around here. It's a local bank. I have been banking with them for a year, but basically I just put money in and then spend it, so I don't have like a clear banking history with a lot of income. It's not exactly a co-signer. It's not somebody who's like guaranteeing the loan, but it is somebody who thinks that I am worth taking a chance on. That is in addition to having a business plan that shows how I expect to generate income. Marion over at the Holiday Cottages has been helping me with the business plan, so that is all set, but the character part is maybe going to be a problem because of that other farmer who has been spreading unhappiness about me. I have not heard anything since I took him those honey peach scones that I made last month. I just got to keep trying to wear him down. That's all. So I don't know when I'll find out about the loan, or if they will close it because I can't get a character sign off. I don't know how long I have to do that. It's a little bit up in the air. But that's what I'm hoping to do, and that's why I've got hay. So what else? Oh, the flooding. Oh my gosh, it's wild. Obviously I've shown you, and I'll put up some video, some aerial footage with the drones. It's amazing. But the whole process of it was also just wild. Like, it rained and rained and rained. And it was really... Sometimes it was like this drenching downpour, like a waterfall had just been let loose from the sky. But it wasn't particularly dramatic. It was just a lot of volume. Other times there were like big storms with a lot of wind and lightning. It looked like things were going to get swept away in the wind. And as the water just started rising, it got very stressful. I wasn't sure how high it would come, if it would come over the top of the terp. It could get into my buildings. It could ruin the hay and the grass. I realize now I was very naive to not have sandbags to put up around the doors of the building here to keep water out. Because water getting in here would absolutely spoil this stuff. And then I would have nothing to feed the sheep, and that would be bad. So I'm very fortunate it didn't get that high. And for next year, I definitely need to have sandbags in. What else? Oh, every terp, it seems, has like a designated point of contact who sort of goes around and keeps track of how high the water is getting, whether there's any evacuation or emergency stuff that needs to happen. There's not really an easy way to evacuate once the water starts getting up to a certain point. And at times, like right now, if I go out there again, you see, like, the water is very calm. And I could take a rowboat anywhere. It's not going to shove me. There's no, like, tidal activity, really. It's just a very still, high floodwater. But at other times, it is just constantly moving. There are large waves when there is a lot of wind-driven waves coming up. And some of those want to slosh over the top of the terp, even if the water hasn't gotten all the way to the top. But luckily, that wasn't bad enough to, like, get into my buildings. And when it's doing that very dramatic, lots of movement, you can't evacuate. There's no way to get out of here. The ferry stops running because it's not safe to do when all of the storm water is moving around. It's just such a large volume of water. And yeah, so there's like a designated captain, basically, of each terp who handles communicating stuff out to all of the residents on the terp. And here on our terp, it's Katrina, my neighbor, who is the mother to those two lovely teenagers, one of whom plays very loud music. I'm sort of getting used to them. So yeah, she just comes right in. It's not even like, I'll knock. I mean, she knocks briefly, but she doesn't wait for an answer. She'll just walk in the door to give you an update or whatever. It's not what I'm accustomed to in the States, where, you know, anybody coming in your house uninvited could be grounds to pull a gun on them. Not that I ever did that, but, you know, I would be afraid of that happening if I were trying to go into someone's house without warning or invite. So yeah, she just barges in all hours of the day and night. Let me know what the height of the floodwaters are and what the expected outcome is for the next several hours. There's like a phone line you can call where they just have a constant reporting of what the height of the floodwater is at various measuring stations they've got around. And the locals know when it gets up to a certain height, like, I don't know, I want to say it's like 8.6 meters, but I'm not positive. When it gets up to that height, you're in trouble, because anything over that can come over the top of the terps. And not all the terps are the same height. I guess I should put another layer on this. I've got a lot of hay. So the one over by the school has actually flooded over the top multiple times, and the school and the church have to sandbag to protect it. So I think I mentioned last month I had gone over to help fill sandbags for the school. I spoke to my friend Friedrich, who is a teacher over at the school, and also he has like an apartment above the school, I guess. He said the water did not come over the top of the terp there, thankfully. It's high, but not that high. So the school didn't flood, and neither did the church. Everybody's houses over there are okay. I'm really glad to hear that. I guess in the past it has gotten into the school and done a lot of damage to the desks and some of the school supplies, and had to like have the kids not attend school for almost a month while they had to fundraise to buy new equipment. There's all this stuff I never even thought about before I moved here. It's just a very different way of life. And Katrina, our terp captain, apparently when it floods like this, I mean, nobody can go anywhere or do anything. You just kind of have to hang out on the terp. So our neighbors who run the wool factory, they haven't been over at the wool factory. They've been just stuck here. I think now that the water is calming down, they might take a boat over there to get everything going again. Katrina and the kids are obviously not going anywhere. Katrina helps out at the holiday cottages as a cleaner, but they are fully booked right now for the floods. Nobody's going in or off the island, so there's no cottages for her to clean. And sometimes she works at the restaurant over here by the lighthouse, but that's also closed because nobody's going anywhere. So she just makes a big breakfast every morning. She says she has to feed the kids anyway. And so she invites over all the neighbors on the terp. So I've been going over there for breakfast, and the neighbors who own the wool factory, and our neighbor who is part-time mailman and part-time works over at the equipment dealer to help with repairs during busy seasons. So yeah, we all sort of go over there and have breakfast. And then the neighbor who's the mailman, he does like a potluck for dinner, and we all sort of go over, bring whatever we have made during the day, and have dinner together. So it's really interesting. I'm like having 2 meals a day with all these people, and everybody's in and out of each other's houses visiting. It's just very social, like strangely social. I guess they have to bond because they rely on each other. We rely on each other. I live here now. I'm part of the community. During these floods, like if anything happened, the only people who could help us are our neighbors because we're so isolated due to the floodwater. So I guess it makes sense to like establish a good bond with your neighbors and look out for each other. But it is not like that in the States at all. So it has been an adjustment. I'm going to just fling these. I gotta say, it is really satisfying sometimes to just fling a hay bale. Fortunately, these are small enough for me to lift and move around. And I have definitely gotten stronger. So yeah, lots of time hanging out with the neighbors. Wonder if any of them would serve as a character witness for me. I'm involving myself now. We'll see. On the sheep front, like I said, all of my sheep now have had their babies. So there's plenty of lambs around. And boy, they came fast and furious. Once lambing started, there were times when there were 2 or 3 sheep at once in the process of giving birth. And Otto couldn't get out here because of the flood, so I was on my own. And that is why mostly everything went smoothly, and the sheep really did take care of most of it on their own. But a couple of the births did not go smoothly, and Otto had given me instructions for what happens when the lamb isn't coming out, like it's breech, essentially. One of them I was not able to save because I had multiple sheep giving birth at once, breech, which was a bummer. And we lost one of the lambs and one of the sheep. I did. In that process, because I couldn't get to both of them at the same time. And then there was another sheep that I lost. The lamb was born okay, but I guess there were complications related to the birth, and the sheep didn't make it. So I am sad about that, but I think that's also part of just having animals. Sometimes everything is good, sometimes stuff happens. And definitely being inexperienced and not having help. I don't know, like even if I had been experienced, I don't think I would have been able to handle those 2 breech births at the same time without help. I think I need to plan better for the sheep to be giving birth when Otto can get out here or when I have other help. You know, it occurs to me, this is exactly the kind of thing I should have asked my neighbors for help with. I had never dealt with a breech birth before. Otto gave me instructions. I muddled my way through it. I could have just as easily asked one of them for help and given them instructions. And maybe I wouldn't have lost that other sheep. I'm gonna have to give that some thought. I cannot be as independent as I have been in the past. I'm one person here trying to do a lot. I wonder if any of the neighbors' kids has any interest in farming. I wonder if I could have one of the kids help me out sometimes. Ooh, that's a really good idea, actually, because I've thought about the horses. If I get horses over on the other terp and having to go over there and take care of them, I wonder if one of the kids might like the idea of helping me take care of horses. Alright, I have to look into that. Okay, well, almost done here, which is great. What else? Oh yeah, I'll get the sheep some lettuce, I think. And next month, it'll be time to sell eggs when I can get off the chirp again. The bakery and the restaurant in town both have said they will take eggs. I've been using them for the potlucks for a bit. The eggs and lettuce and tomatoes have been a big hit here on the chirp. Since we're stuck here and don't have access to the grocery stores. Also, my neighbors knew what to expect and I didn't, and they had stockpiled really well and I didn't. My pantry is full of a mishmash of staples that I can't really make much from. So the 2 meals a day coming from my neighbors is definitely helping to keep me fed. Otherwise, it would be a lot of lettuce and tomatoes for me. I guess I could get some of the oats out and make oatmeal. Alright, well, it's not the tidiest stack ever, but it's pretty good. And now I can get the bale rails off of this trailer, so I can take the eggs into town next month. Yeah, okay. Let's get out of here and get into the little tractor. What do I have out of the greenhouse? Looks like I've got plenty of tomatoes and lettuce both. Still flooded. Okay, well, I guess I'll get some tomatoes over to the sheep. Did you really just charge me? What are you doing? Hey, hey! Okay. Yeah, I will get the sheep taken care of. I may see you later. I may not. There may not be much else going on this month. We'll find out. Okay, well. The folks who were staying over at my terp apparently got real bored in the floodwaters with the fact that the holiday cottages are sort of like this whole community. People can sort of hang out and visit each other, and it's kind of wild. They throw little parties. They have a little building where they have like events, like trivia. If people have kids, they can have the kids play together. Over on my terp that is focused on agritourism, we don't have any of that. They don't have any neighbors. It's just the one house. They got very bored. So I've just been in this tiny boat ferrying them around. I went over to the terp, picked them up, and took them into the wool factory. The guys here on the terp who work over there said they were going over to the factory to get things going, and so I gave them a tour of the wool factory, courtesy of my neighbors. And that sort of started this other idea where then I could take them into town and see if any of the people in town, like at the restaurant or the bakery, would be willing to give them a tour, or maybe have like a bake along, or like help me do pastries or classes or something. I've been kind of scrambling today to get with some of these business owners, but we are figuring out now this can be like a package where they can pay extra to go do these tours or have classes at the bakery or the restaurant. And we threw something together last minute for these folks. I called Marianne at the holiday cottages, and she actually got some people from the holiday cottages to come and do it too. So we ended up with like 8 people on the wool factory tour. And then the bakery put together a class on making croissants. And the restaurant did a thing about like dinner service. It was like a fake dinner service, lunch service, whatever. There aren't that many people in the restaurant, but they basically showed them what it's like to take orders and do a meal prep in the kitchen, and they had this whole like fake meal service setup thing. People really ate that up, and it brought some extra money into the businesses in town at a time when there's no money coming in because the floods just bring everything to a standstill. So this actually could be something we offer as a community in the future to tourists on the island. And we're starting to get together to think about that. That is super cool. I can't believe it kind of seems so obvious now in retrospect that they should have been doing this for years, but nobody thought of it. The holiday community was just sort of self-sufficient until I had that separate group out on my terp. There was no reason for anybody to say, I'm bored, I need something to do. That's just gonna open up some new opportunities for the community, I think, which I'm very excited about. I feel like I'm actually making a contribution now and not just here stumbling my way through whatever life looks like now. That was an awesome note to end the month on. I am going to bring a book out here and sit down and watch the floodwaters and read a book. I hope you all are having an awesome month. I'll catch you next time.